All right. So we're here.
Hello.
Hello. Yes. So we're here for another episode of Würfelcast. It's not a special episode anymore. Finally, there's been
Regular one.
there've been few specials, but I think many people haven't seen these specials because they might think they are a little bit longer. But I mean, we go through like a ton of games, like in the top three Appaloosa, in the alphabetic top three. We go through so many games. That's why it's longer. But I timestamped everything, so you can just go through that if you really want to go faster. So who cares? I mean, go watch them anyway. They're fun. I mean, like the alphabetic one was fun, especially with the X Y Z.
Oh,
No.
especially with all the technical difficulties.
Yeah, and we found a train game that was
Oh,
the
from the
from
ASS.
AS. Yes, sorry, yeah.
Yeah, that was pretty amazing. I haven't been able to find it yet, unfortunately.
Okay. I mean, I think it's long out of print due to some technical issues. You have to scratch the bottom in order to find this game.
Yeah, I did spend a lot of time looking for ass on the internet, but I never did find it.
No, you might have no. Okay, let's not go
My
there.
search history is crazy these days.
Okay. So, but without further ado, this is episode 15, and today's episode we're gonna go through recent plays. We have desired play. We have guess that game, the small game that we do here on the show, and then we have the Kickstarter thing going on here as well. And then at the end, we're gonna do our top 10 ugly ducklings.
Yep.
It might sound weird. We're gonna rate ducks, but not really. We're gonna explain it, I think, as we approach that topic eventually. So, but I think without the further ado, we should start with our recent plays. It's been a while since we did this episode, so there are many games that we played in between 14 and 15. But I think let's just throw in a few
27 each.
Yeah, kinda like alphabet. Okay, let me do that. Let me share my screen and share the BGG tab so I can, show you those games as well. Okay, so here we are. And Kat, what's your first game?
All right.
You want to talk about?
The first game I want to talk about is one that I discovered because it was on the hot list for a while, and then I watched a video about it and I discovered it. It's called Bargain Basement Bathysphere at Beachside Bay.
Bargain Basement.
Yeah, and there's not really going to be much to show. So this is a print and play game. It's a solo print and play game, an easy one though, because I'm not very crafty. And so really all you have to do is have a sheet of 8.5 by 11 paper. Is maybe 30. You print them out and you play through. You need 5 dice, well 6, 7 because there are bonuses. And you're playing through. It's a legacy style print and play campaign. And what you're doing is it's a roll and move game. And you're rolling your dice and you're choosing how far down into this path you want to go and which direction you can go. Stop at any time. And if you skip over spaces that have negative things in them, then you suffer those penalties. But if you stop on the spaces, like if you go over to the right, see what I'm pointing at the screen. What am I doing here? But you see, if you've stopped at a space, you get to gray it out completely and not suffer the penalty. And so, but then when you want to re-roll your dice, you have to spend air. And so you're managing your resources. You're trying to avoid penalties. If you go back to a space you already visited, though, there's a different kind of penalty. And you're trying to get down as far as you can and then get back up without dying and see how many points you get. And then based on what you do, some of them, there's different rules that get introduced in later chapters. And it's a fascinating little game. It's very easy to get into. The writing is pretty good. The rule set is very simple. The components are, as nice as you make them. And I've really been enjoying it. I've been playing, maybe a chapter or two a day. And, the first couple of chapters I just died in because I was too greedy. And so it's more a game about knowing when to stop going down and turn around and go back up than anything else. But I'm really enjoying it, especially for the price, which is free.
Okay, so yeah, everybody who likes extremely simple print and plays, solo games, especially one. Our quarantine is basically over here, but I mean, whoever else is still at home, suffering from doing nothing, you can print out Bathysphere, and it's probably a PMP file on BGG, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, you can go to the web to the entry on Board Game Geek, and there's the files are there. If you go to the main page, there's a link to the current rule set. I don't know if there have been some changes. Just that link right there, it takes you right to a Google Doc, and you can just print it right out, and it's already in order and already ready to go. All you need is a pen and 6 dice.
Okay. All right. Not my type of game. That would be that game for a top 10. You know.
Well, this one doesn't pretend to be beautiful. This one is Look, for the cost of 20 sheets of paper and some ink, it's definitely worth experimenting with.
All right. So, what's your other game you've played recently?
Well, let's see. All right. So this is a game that I played, and it was kind of a sad playthrough because, as you know, last Saturday was supposed to be the Eurovision Song Contest. And because it was canceled this year, it was supposed to be in the Netherlands. So I got out a game I've talked about many times, which is Pandemic Rising Tide, which takes place in the Netherlands. And I set up my iPad and I watched the Europe Shine a Light competition and played through a couple rounds of Pandemic Rising Tide while watching the sort of ersatz Eurovision that happened. So that was my second recent play. I was looking forward to playing it in the actual Netherlands, but that'll happen next year.
Okay. Yeah. Pandemic is not my self game I would prefer to play right now, but I mean, it's thematic due to recent events. And this one. This
is about France.
Yeah. This is about something else.
This is the most different of the pandemics. It's a very different puzzle because it's about the flooding, and as the seawater gets higher, then it floods more water into the lands. And so those brown sticks that you see everywhere, those are the dikes that you're building to keep back the water. And if you have dikes, then it prevents the water from going in. And so it's a very different experience than the other pandemic family members, in which you're pretty much doing the same thing. Here, there's only one color; it's blue, and you're really trying to manage not only where there's going to be outbreaks, but also manage how the water flows within the country, so that you end up able to avoid having the whole area be flooded. So it's a good game. It's my favorite of the pandemics. Sad circumstance to play it, but also a good time to do so.
All right. And what's your third game?
My third recent play is a game that it was a Kickstarter game that arrived about a week ago. It is called Barbarians Invasion.
Okay.
And Barbarians Invasion looks a lot more complicated than it is, but it's essentially a worker placement-ish game. You've got this sort of the focal point is what you see on the screen there is that volcano, it's called. And that's this rotating track of worker placement spots. And so when you go to one, the next one you go to has to be connected to it. And so you're moving down the mountain. And it's it's the first you pick one, and then that gives you 2 choices for your second spot, and that gives you 4 choices for your third spot, and then you might have a 4th spot depending on what you're doing in the game. And then you're building buildings to get you resources. There are cards you can get for special abilities. You can go out and conquer, and there are cards that help you with that. And there's a lot of different ways to get points and a lot of different things to do. And it's a short game. It's only 6 rounds, and there's definitely not enough time to do everything. And so I've really enjoyed just kind of experiencing it. I quite enjoy it. I do not have the fancy meeple version. The miniature version. I got the one with the painted meeples because I don't know, the miniatures, if they're not painted, kind of all look the same to me. But the meeples are are fun. The only problem with the game is that the box insert is kind of a crime against humanity. There was this nice, well-designed insert, but you just can't fit everything back in the box with it. So I had to part with mine, unfortunately.
Okay, yeah, looks nice. That one reminded me of game. I don't remember what's the name of that game about rocks. You have the circle of boards. You have those tiles in a circle, and you go down the levels like rocks something. Remember that game?
Rocks?
The rocks. No, something. It was about mining and
Rockwell.
Rockwell, yeah.
Yeah.
That looks like the same mechanic here. I mean,
it's very different than Rockwell. Rockwell was a surprisingly heavy game. This one is pretty light.
Yeah, I mean, this one here,
Yeah, you do have that circular track. You're right.
You go down that track, and it's kind of spins or whatever it does. You have to pay more levels eventually, and so on. Yeah. Okay. Remind me of that. I mean, the overall kind of a view of that, reminded me of that Rockwell game. Okay. All right. Anyway, my recent plays are, first of all, I want to talk about Museum. Museum, I played with the expansion lately, with the Archaeologist, I think was the expansion name, yeah. But yeah, it's Archaeologist, yeah.
Not the Cthulhu expansion?
No, I don't have Cthulhu expansion. So I researched this thing a little bit, like what expansion because it has so many expansions, and I want to, if I buy all the expansions, do I need them all, or maybe I want some of those that are praised more and play with them, and then if I get tired, then I'm gonna buy these extra expansions, Otherwise, it will be too many. But yeah, it doesn't show it here. But the game,
buy them all.
Yeah, I have two: the World's Fair expansion, and then the other one.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so in this game, there's no good picture here, but in this game, you are curators at the museum. You are collecting your kind of a collection of different artifacts from different sections of the world, and those are here, these artifacts, and it's extremely simple of a set collection game. But the cool part about the Architects expansion is that now you need to put your architects down into those different parts of the world so you can grab the cards from there. In the base game, you can just, claim the cards from anywhere, and then you pay cards for cards with the cards, which is really cool. And here, those architects, archaeologists, I want to say. Not architects, I want to say archaeologists. Sorry, archaeologist expansion. So these people, they give you the access to those different parts of the world, so you can grab from those. You can see here you have 4 parts of the world, and then also they give you some extra abilities or some like bonuses. Like if you go and grab a card from the north, like from the America or from the Asia, you get that kind of an extra bonus from that. And it's like a small thing, but it gives you this small extra strategy, like more strategic play. I like that a lot. And yeah, overall this game is really cool. I like that. You have your own like kind of a secret objective you want to collect, and then you have kind of a basic thing. You're trying to get the collection right, and then connect the different collections in your museum and score the most points. It's very simple. It's extremely gorgeous. It's like the opposite of Ugly Ducklings, So love this game. Architects. I don't know why I'm saying
Archaeologists.
Archaeologists. Thank you. They make the game better. Okay. They make the game more strategic. They add this kind of they don't add that many rules, but they add the necessary depth to the game that you will enjoy it much more. I like that.
I enjoy Museum. The only thing I did not like about it is those boards where you have to put the cards, they just tend to move around. And since the positions, like in your museum where you're trying to line up those columns of cards, I just found it was sometimes, if you bumped them at all, they moved. and it kind of, I don't know, I found it a little bit fiddly to try and place them in such a way that they lined up with those lines on the board. That was my only real complaint with the game.
Yeah, like graphically, sometimes you don't really understand how it goes, but I think if you play a few times, you'll be fine. Those boards are not the best. I mean, if these would be like small neoprene mats.
I think the new Kickstarter has something better that is coming for it. The one that
New one? I haven't heard. No.
Oh, it finished, I don't know, a month or two ago for a reprint with some new expansions and a big box to hold everything. And there was some improvement made to the boards.
Oh, maybe I can pre-order that. Okay. That's true. Anyway, yeah, that's Museum. Then I played, I introduced, like, my girlfriend isn't the big gamer, but she played quite a few games. I mean, she played like quite a few bigger games. She played Living Planet, which is not the easiest game. She played Underwater Cities and so on. She hasn't played Scythe yet, maybe, but I introduced her to Clank. You know that we played Clank Legacy, and she really liked this aspect of collecting cards. And I was like, okay, so I bought back Valley of the Kings in that bigger box, the deluxe box. I like the new style of cards, new graphics. So I was like, maybe she'll like deck building as pure mechanic here, and she did. And let me show you. This is the new Valley of the Kings. So basically, this is like your deck builder. You have 5 cards in your hand. Your hand has this kind of you have currency. You buy cards from the center. You have abilities on the cards, and you want to collect the most points. The cool part about the game itself is that you don't collect points automatically, like in Dominion, for example, where you collect cards in your deck and that's it, and then you see if you have collected most points. Here you have to entomb them, and that means you have to put them away in a separate collection, and then you have to do that kind of a separate set collection aspect of the game. But if you put the card away from your deck into that tomb, then you won't be able to use that, which is really cool. I like that. It's a usual deck builder with such a nice, neat twist that I adore this deck builder. And this deluxe edition comes with these pharaohs, basically like special abilities. And when we first drafted them, we thought like, wow, you have such a great ability. And then I was like, mine doesn't seem so good. But eventually, when we started playing that, both of our abilities were really good. But in different aspects, so different times through the process of the game,
Yeah.
So I still enjoy it. I like the new version better because bigger cards is always better to see on the table, and also the art and everything is, I don't know, it just looks cooler. I like that. So
yeah, I like the new version better too. The only thing that I don't like is the new version is in a huge box, and one of the advantages of the older game is it was extremely portable.
Yes. And this new box has a lot of room for extra cards. The other side of the insert is cut a little bit wrong, so it's not like it won't fit the cards perfectly. You can, but there's something wrong with that. They did that extra space because they thought if they will do any expansions later, you can fit that for the future. But they don't plan to do any of the expansions.
We'll see.
That's what they said, at least. Anyway, and my third game, I play Stockpile a lot recently, but I played Stockpile. I bought the app eventually. I was like, the app is nice. I like the app, but I also played this game again as a 2-player game.
Okay.
And I mean, like, it was a refreshing experience because a 2-player game of Stockpile is a different strategy because you get 2 abilities. You get 2 meeples to bid with. It's like 5 tribes, basically. You also have like you can do with 2 meeples you can have great turns, but here it doesn't have the turn order. But I mean, like, You can have 2 great stacks. You can have 1 weak stack, but then you can have another bigger and greater stack with the other meeple. I like this bidding with 2 players. The information, you have 2 informations.
Right.
It's a little bit fiddly. I mean, like I think it's still better to play with more players, but it's a cool and refreshing experience to play it with 2. Kind of a different experience. And I usually don't like that fiddliness when you have to kind of control two players as one player. In here, it didn't bother me, maybe because I play the game a lot and I know the game, but maybe also because eventually you still have only one hand.
Right.
It just you have 2 possibilities to grab the decks, and you have 2 special abilities, which is like if you combine them in a right way, if you get like you draft, and then you get 2 abilities that kind of help each other, then it's amazing.
Yeah.
So.
I didn't even feel when I played it mostly 2-player, I think, and it doesn't feel to me like you're controlling 2 people. You're really just playing yourself. You just get to bid on 2 things. That's really the only difference. And the only fiddly part I found was you have to make sure that you keep the 2 different information combos, like the stock and its movement, separate so that you don't mix them up. But
I put them separate, like on the left hand and on the right hand. I put them far from each other.
That's the only thing that's the only place where the game is a little bit fragile, is right there. But just paying attention is really the good way to help with that.
Yeah, true that. And I have the expansion. I have the corruption expansion, the usual one. I don't play with bonds anymore because I feel they're fiddly. I mean, like, this is not necessary. They don't give you that much money, and I mean, like, investing in them slows down the game. I don't like that.
I want 2 bonds.
Yeah, so too much.
I mean, that's the slow part. You just say, I want 2. I want 1. I want 3. But okay,
yeah,
I found the commodities. That's the one that I'm more likely to leave out, is the commodity.
Okay.
But you can take one or the other, up to you.
Commodities is like a small set collection. I like that part because the cool part is that those -3,000 and -2,000 cards are not that bad. And then if you add those taxes are bad in this game. I mean, like, if you collect like 3-4 of them, then it's like, I mean, like, it's a small thing. Like, those taxes makes you think about, like, should I go there because I already have 3? If I go for 4, I get minus so much money, and then but I wanna get the newest expansion, which adds those like special cards, like special action cards, basically, that you can play as well, which will spice up the game very much, I think. So we'll slow down it, but I'm very curious, so I'm waiting for the expansion. Yeah.
Right.
That's my 3 plays, your 3 plays.
There we go.
And now let's go to the desired play. This is a game that you really want to play, but, like, for example, you haven't played in a while, or you have played and you are eager to play it again right now, or a future game that will come out soon. Anything, your desired play.
Okay.
So what's yours?
Well, mine is something that's brand new, that's not even out yet, but I got a pre-release. And that's a game that you already know that I love, and I think you like it too, but it is the new version, Silver Coin.
What's that?
It's the 3rd expansion. It's the 3rd version of Silver Coin. We played when we played it at the airport. It was a combination of Silver and Silver Bullet. This is the 3rd entry into the series, Silver Coin.
Oh, I get it. I thought that it.
You've got, essentially, it's the same game.
Okay.
Standalone, or you can combine it, which of course I will. You've got 14 new abilities, so 0 through 13. That are different than the other sets, and you've got a coin instead of the bullet or the amulet, which lets you once, if you have it during your turn, you flip it over, and you can flip over 1 card. So that's how it works, as opposed to the amulet and the bullet, which let you either protect or kill a card. So it's just new abilities, new ways to play. I'm immediately going to throw it in with my other Silver stuff and just start from there, because there's no reason to play it separately. But I really like silver, and I'm always excited for more.
I wasn't buying the games for some time after we came back from the cruise because we got quite a few games, and we played silver and I enjoyed it. I was like, it was okay the first time, but the more we played it, the more I enjoyed it. Which makes me think that I should get this game.
Well, and you don't have to get all 3 sets if you don't want, but having one, I mean, they all fit in one box, and there's really no reason not to have all 3.
I mean, variety. I mean, like you can pick like any combination. I mean, like if you have several 2s, several 3s,
Right. Now there's 3 for each number, so you've just
which is cool. I would definitely get all 3 because, like, when we combined, we played. It was really cool to have like a little bit different game each time.
To be honest, other than this 3rd set, which I do know which ones are in it, I probably couldn't tell you which ones of the original sets came from Bullet versus Amulet.
I don't remember the exact abilities and numbers. I remember ogres or something like
the goblins,
goblins, trolls. I know who were like
the gremlins.
12s, the 12. Yeah, that was nasty. I mean, like,
yeah.
I mean, Victor got a lot of those all the time.
I don't even know what the other number 12 is because I always play with the gremlins. I just think they're so fun. But anyway.
Yeah. Okay.
So that's my desired play.
Okay. My desired play is a game that has just finished on Kickstarter. It's a sequel. It's a reprint. It seems like it's the it's not so different from the original game, and that's Steampunk Rally
Fusion.
Fusion, yes, that's what I want to say. So this is a sequel, but it seems like this one is that like it's the same as Steampunk Rally, but it's like in the futuristic world, which sounds really cool. I don't know, it just sounds cool, and I realized that I don't have Steampunk Rally anymore. And I realized that, that was such a cool game. And I don't have, like, right now I'm combining, I want to have a complete collection of not too many games, like 50 is my most games. And I want to have different genres, different, mechanics and things. So I don't have any game with a race in it. So racing. And so I thought Steampunk Rally was the one that's kind of a Euro-y, where you collect those dice through drafting, and then you put those dice on your cards, your machinery, and you build up your machinery as well. You kind of activate the different symbols on those cards, so you can drive forward or protect yourself from the chasms and mountains and whatever, wind, strong wind, and whatever. And you wanna get to the finish line with, I think, at least a cockpit. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. That's that. So I remember enjoying this game a lot, and this one is not just racing that you like the simple racing. This one has strong Euro elements to it. Strategic elements to it, so I like that.
I really like Steampunk Rally too. I got the new edition from the Kickstarter, but I wanted the fancy one that you had the boxes that are fused together, so I'll have an extra copy of Steampunk Rally that I'll have to part with at some point. But because I got basically the base game along with the new one because I wanted the new box.
And the Kickstarter version comes with the metal cogs, so I want them. when I had the standard version, the retail box, I was like, I really want to get the metal cogs. So that's that. Anyway, that's my desired play. Okay, so let's go to the third topic of today, or third segment of today, which is Guess That Game. And this is about let me get back. Stop sharing the screen. Okay, now so this is about hints about the game. So I give you hints, you guess the game. Then you give me hints, I guess the game, back and forth.
Okay.
So very easy rules. We've done that all the time. I don't even know how to explain that game. It's so easy. I
I
mean,
don't
like,
think
just
you need to explain it. It's pretty self-explanatory.
yeah. Do you want to start?
I can start. All right. So this is a game with lots of miniatures in it.
Okay. But by the way, while you're watching, you can try to guess as well and see if you're smarter than me, which is very obvious. In this case, I'm lots of miniatures. Let's say it's Zombicide.
No, it's not Zombicide. This
Okay.
is a game that came out. I think it was released last year in 2019.
2019. It's Nemesis.
No, it's not Nemesis. This is a game with a historical theme about it.
Historical.
Historical theme about it.
Oh, lots of miniatures. Historical theme. I don't remember the games from 2019. Historical theme. What's the Lords of Hellas? No, it's not. It's not 2019 game.
No, it's not Lords of Hellas. This is a game with this. I would describe this game as French.
French. Huh. Cthulhu May Die? No. Oh,
What?
Batman? No. Oh, no, Batman.
Not a historical theme.
No. I mean, like, no. I just. Oh my god. It's. I don't know. I'm lost.
This game features, among its many miniatures, an enormous dragon that's that big.
What? Enormous. Oh, it's like Rising Sun. No, it's. I don't remember what dragon. I don't know that game, to be honest.
The game is Joan of Arc.
Oh, I see. Okay, so I.
And that's why I said
haven't.
a historical theme, because
Yeah, I know about the game, but I haven't seen the miniatures in it. I haven't really looked into it because it's like a miniatures heavy game. I don't remember the dragon.
this game needs a closet by itself. So
Hiding closet.
no, not quite that. But she
Not quite it. Yes.
I can't do the whistling sound, unfortunately.
Oh, that I don't know. Yeah, she was cool. Okay. Anyway, we're talking about Drag Race, so sorry. Okay.
So, there
Uh,
you go.
so let me give you a hint. My first game, it has a bluish box.
A bluish box. Is it Planet?
No. This game has artifacts.
Is it Lords of Hellas?
No. This game has roles, like characters
Kitchen Rush?
roles,
Oh, what?
like characters roles.
Oh, that kind of rolls. I was
Yeah.
Rush.
Yeah.
Is it? I don't know. What's that game? Citadels.
No. This game has roses.
Is it the Grim Masquerade?
Indeed, it is. Yes.
Right.
That's cool. You guessed that. Okay. Your next one.
All right. My next one. So this game has a historical theme,
It's
and I didn't have to go for that one.
it's that it's that game about freedom, underground railroads.
No.
Okay.
This game's the theme, the historical setting of this game is ancient Rome.
It's Tribune.
No, it's not Tribune. Have I played Tribune? I don't know.
I'm sure you
This game features head-to-head combat.
head-to-head combat in ancient Rome. It's the I don't remember. Give me another one.
The combatants are gladiators in a coliseum.
Oh, it's the what's the trick-taking game in the yellow box. I don't remember the.
Gorus Maximus?
Yes, yeah, that's the one.
No, it's not Gorus Maximus.
Okay, it's not Gorus Maximus. Okay.
The combatants in the gladiators in the Colosseum in ancient Rome.
Spartacus.
No, it's not Spartacus.
Okay,
Have on the tokens that represent these gladiators, there are lots and lots and lots of keywords that you constantly have to look up.
Wow. Gladiators, like ancient Rome, lots of keywords. Oh my God. Do I know that game?
I don't know. It's starting to sound like no. I figured it wasn't too obscure. I'll give you one more hint.
Okay.
The combatants with all of the keywords that are gladiators in ancient Rome are stacks of chips.
Oh, it's a chip theory game.
Yes, it's the first one.
I don't remember the name of that game. I do know how it looks like. Yeah. I remember that game. I don't remember how.
Could it be Hoplomachus?
Yeah, that weird name.
That one.
Yeah, just to show it. I mean, like.
Yes, that's the one.
I totally remember that game. Let me see.
Okay, then it was fair.
I mean, well, like, when you said it has chips, and then the gladiators, I think I've seen it on the Kickstarter. Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, I've seen it. Yes. Yeah, it looked cool. Yeah, it has this small icons and things. Yeah.
You know, okay. I recently got it out and played it. It has not aged as well as I had hoped. It makes me appreciate Too Many Bones in Cloudspire. Because of the things that were rough in this game were kind of ironed out in those games. So.
Okay. All right. So my second, I'm terrible at this, but my second game is, should I say the name first? Okay. Then we're gonna guess it. Anyway,
well,
let me get back. Okay, so my second game is a roll and write game.
Is it Bargain Basement Bathysphere at Beachside Bay?
No. In this game, you fill columns and rows.
Is it the hydrologically challenged haunted hayride at Hank's Hen Hatchery?
What?
The hydrologically challenged haunted hayride at Hank's Hen Hatchery?
Let it be. Let's just skip
that.
No,
that's a no. It's not that one.
No. This game has colored dice.
Is it Dice Stars?
It is.
Okay.
I mean, like my last hint was, it has stars on dice. I mean, like, if you want to get that, that would be really bad. Okay, so that's Dice Stars roll and write game. My favorite, but I mean, like, why I thought about this one, I thought like I enjoy Dice Stars the most because it's the simplest. It's so easy to play and teach, and I was like, but I need another one. I just need one more roll and write game. So I got the Cartographers.
Oh, that's a good
the
one.
Role Player Tale.
For Kennerspiel des Jahres.
Yeah, I hope it's good. So.
Oh yeah, you'll like that one. That's a good one. It's one of the better ones. The one thing I would say for that one though is maybe invest in some colored pencils.
Okay. Well, we have those. Yeah.
You don't have to, but it'll be a little easier to, because the way you draw the things, you've got to keep track of what area is which, and there are symbols on them. It's definitely doable without colored pencils. I don't have any, but it's something that every time I get it out, I think, I should really buy some colored pencils or some markers for this, because it would make it a little bit easier to kind of get into.
Yeah. All right, so let's go to the next segment, which is what's on KS, which means Kickstarter. And let me share my screen one more time. I like to share. Okay, so we're gonna now load Kickstarter, and then we're gonna talk about the game that's currently in Kickstarter. That I wanted to show Mini Express. Yeah, Mini Express.
Yeah.
The one from Ideas Game Design, which is like 18xx kind of a light with like deep size, you think. But it funded already. So I was like, oh, it funded today, like in a few hours. I was like, oh.
That's kind of how mine were. I was like, okay, the last 3 weeks I've been able to talk about a lot of games on Kickstarter, but lots of them have recently reached their funding goals.
You mean the bubble tea game? What's that?
The bubble tea game?
Yeah, the bubble.
That's one you want to talk about?
A bubble battle game for 2 players. Compete the most squishy tapioca goodness into your cup of tea. Oh my god.
I don't think that's the one I want to talk about, but if that's the one you want to do, that's fine.
No. I just realized it's. Oh my god, so weird. Okay, let's just skip it and get to yours. What's your pick?
All right. Well, I picked a sequel to another game that I have and enjoy, but have not played for a while. It's the 4th game from this particular person, and that is, or at least from this series, and that is Dale of Merchants 3.
Okay. Is it still on Kickstarter?
Yeah, it is.
Oh, 10 days to go.
So
you still have time.
It's still time. It's just basically Dale of Merchants again. The first one was in a tiny box, then there was one in a tiny box, then there was one in a big box, and now there's another one in a tiny box. And it just gives you more animals to play with. Dale of Merchants was more of a race game combined with deck building than anything else. You were trying to not score points or anything, but you were trying to make sets of your cards so that you could sell a certain item, basically put down all of your different things in your stalls 1 to 5, and whoever did that first would win. And the first one had, 6 or so different card types in it. And then there was the second one that came out right away, which had another 6 or so. And then the third one, which was not called Dale of Merchants 3 for some reason. And now there's the Dale of Merchants 3, which is the 4th entry in the series.
Wait, what was the other one that I only know?
So if you scroll up, you see that big box right there?
Yeah.
That's the third one in the series. It was like the collector's edition or something, but it didn't have. It had some new stuff in it, and yeah.
Oh, this one.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like it had some little bit of extra, but it wasn't like complete.
It wasn't a full game. It was the only one that wasn't a full standalone game. It was more of a box than anything else. So, but the Dale of Merchants 3 is the 4th one in the series, and oddly enough, the 3rd one came with dividers for Dale of Merchants 3, which caused me to pull my hair out, wondering if I had lost it somewhere.
Okay.
But it's a cute game. It looks good. It's done by this. I think he's a Finnish guy.
Sami Laakso, yes.
And he does mostly good things. I wasn't a huge fan of that Peacemakers game, but the rest of them I've really quite enjoyed.
Yeah, I know him. We met a few times and we talked a lot because like I was working in the Finnish company, so like basically we played his Dale of Merchants and we did a segment on that, the Blender segment. Yeah. So and I also reviewed Dawn of Peacemakers. I mean, I like Dale of Merchants. I haven't bought into the new stuff because at some point I was like, I don't want to do deck building games. But this series of games, or let's say the first one that I played, was really cool, and I'm sure the other 2 are basically the same with just new, diversify the different abilities of the cards.
That's basically it.
Yeah, so more sets.
Yep.
Yeah, Dawn of Peacemakers, on the one that you said you didn't like that much.
Yeah.
I liked it because I had a certain person who was into that kind of a theme, and it clicked for us.
Yeah.
As a 2-player game. Yeah.
I did like one. There was one big surprise moment in Dawn of Peacemakers that I really enjoyed, but other than that, I found the game kind of lackluster. But Dale of Merchants is what we're talking about here. And that's, if you like Dale of Merchants, this is a an easy choice. If you don't know it yet, it's a good time to get back in, because I don't know if the game's been in print for a while, and it seems like the older ones are coming back. So,
and he's the one man band as well. He does the artwork and he does the design, and basically, yeah, he's the same. Like, he's the Finnish Ryan Loken, by the way, just so you know. And you can get, yeah,
game on Kickstarter.
yeah, you can get the 19 euros, which is like $22, something like that, maybe $23. I don't know. $21 about here says. So I mean, yeah. So it's cheap. I mean, it's cheap, and
it's a cheap, small, easy, light game that you can easily expand if you enjoy it.
And yeah, you can give €100 plus shipping, of course, but you can get the whole big set.
I don't need that. I already have it. So.
Okay. That's yours. Okay. Still 10 days to go. Go fund it. My pick for the Kickstarter game is an older game, and I wanted to show you something cool, but I think people already know about so many games on Kickstarter, like Tiny Epic Pirates and so on. So it's popular anyway. And I was like, I saw Tribune, by the way. I saw Tribune, a remastered classic. Now, this game comes from...
there's artwork. Is this one going to be on our list?
I mean, by the way, the box artwork is cool. It's stylish. It's nice. I like that.
Spielworks is usually not very good on artwork.
No, they're not. I mean, like, this would be the Ugly Ducklings. Yes, definitely. But this one, I mean, I played this a long time ago. It came from the from Fantasy Flight Games.
Yep.
And 2007. And I like the idea of this one, and they're throwing in some extra mechanics. As you can see, it doesn't look like extremely good.
Kickstarter just not popping.
Yeah, but I mean, like, indie game studios. But I mean, like, this one sounds. I mean, like, this is a good game. So if you want to get an older game, an older classic back to print, you wanted to play this one for a long time, this is the way to get this one. And you get the cards, and then you, like, the cards are basically like a power, and you use that power to take over different factions. And it says it has some, like, new content, like establish the faith and send gladiators to Colosseum, serve the office in Rome, honor the edicts of the emperor, like extra things going on here. I don't know what these are. I haven't played with these. This is still new stuff. The only problem I have with this one is that it's $69. $70 for that game sounds a little bit too harsh for such artwork. But it is a good game. I like that game. I felt like this game would need something a little bit like extra in order to be really, really good. And maybe this extra mechanics are the ones that will make the game better. But yeah.
Okay.
I mean, like, if I look at the different, there are quite a few components, but like $70. I mean, it's Stronghold Games is distributing that. It's the indie game studios. It's the indie boards and cards and Stronghold Games. It's, I mean, I want to say that please stop doing ugly games. Please. You can do
pretty game.
I mean, like, look at that. You have to. Yes, you have to. You see this shipping and taxes. You have to pay $25 plus $69. So you're basically paying
a copy.
I mean, almost $100.
Yeah. Well, this is one that will probably be in distribution. So if you don't want to get it on the Kickstarter, maybe you can find it cheaper later. So
yeah, if it will not sell well, then I can get even cheaper.
You can actually probably find an old copy of Tribune for not very much money these days.
Oh, true that. But I mean, like this one has probably some reworkings and new mechanisms. So
That is not
that's
a
that.
pretty box cover. That box cover does not say "Play Me."
Yeah,
That is a
but
dirty
it's
ring
not.
that's been kissed by a lot of people.
But I mean, it's not the Borgen basement backyard
Here at
Bafa.
Bay.
Yeah, it's
Well, but
not
that
that.
one also doesn't cost $69 plus $25 for shipping.
True.
That one
True.
costs a printer. You just print it and it's yours for $5 and you can play it.
True that.
Also,
Okay.
you can get that one now. This one you have to wait a year.
What's the timeline? December 2020? No, I don't think so.
That's optimistic.
Let's add another year and then see what happens. Yeah. Okay. So this is it for the Kickstarter, and then we go to our last topic of today, last segment, which is the top 10.
Woo!
Yes. And the top 10 is top 10 ugly ducklings.
Yep.
And to explain that, so this is not about ducks, this is about board games. But this is about the games that we do enjoy, but they don't look so good. They are kind of, they skip the graphic procedures that the games should go through in order to be flashy, like Museum, for example. And they skipped all of that, but they still got the good mechanics in them. So,
yep.
Are you fine with that explanation?
I'm fine with that explanation. They're
Okay.
that look bad but are still good.
Yeah. So I thought that this is not so hard to do because like I know a few games, but I realized that it's hard to do because I totally skip all of those beautiful games. I skip them. I just don't play them.
See, and for me, it was a very easy. I figured this would be a list that would be harder for you because you're much more likely to say I don't like the way this game looks. I'm not going to play it. Whereas I'm much more accepting of potentially ugly games, and so I thought it was going to be hard. But I just went through my list of games that I enjoy and immediately made a really long list, and then had trouble whittling it down to 10.
Yeah. I mean, some of my games on my list and on my short lists were games that I didn't think they were like ugly, but not appealing graphically, So that's that. Anyway, without further ado, let's go to our number 10. Do you want to start first?
I'll start. That's fine. My number 10 ugly duckling game is...
Close your eyes.
It's not that bad. Is a game, specifically the older edition is what this is for, although the new edition isn't that much better. And the game is Suburbia. This is a great game that is a lot of fun to play. It's great to have all these different interactions between the city pieces. But when you look at it, it's this kind of an ugly looking yellow and blue mess. And that's the old edition. The new edition is still kind of an ugly looking yellow and blue mess. And it just doesn't look great, but it's a very good game to play.
Yeah, it's very functional.
Yeah, that's what it is. It's functional.
But I do agree. It's a little bit stylish, It's towards that stylish.
I would say
going on. What?
Or stylized.
Stylized, yeah. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I do agree with you. Yes, it's a cool game. Not one of my favorites. I mean, like, I like Castles might be a little bit better.
Well, Castles also looks better.
Yeah, and it's not on my list because I mean, like, Castles doesn't have that great of an artwork as well. I mean, like, it's just small rooms, but it just looks appealing on the table. Yeah. So anything that I thought looks appealing on the table without having such like an amazing artwork, like for example, Near and Far, Ryan Lockett artwork, if it looks appealing to me, it's not an ugly game. So
okay, well, that's my number 10, Suburbia.
Okay, so my number 10 is a game from My Ideas Game Design. I reviewed this game, and this game doesn't, I mean, like, the box doesn't look good, the game doesn't look good, but it has some really cool mechanics, and that's Symphony Number 9.
Mhm.
Have you played that one?
I have played that one. I enjoy the game, and I agree it's not amazing looking.
It doesn't even load. We have some problems. Anyway, Symphony Number 9. I cannot show you that one for now. Oh, it's loading now. And if you look at the box, so
Well, the box looks chaotic.
yes, if if you look at the box, like close up, if you have the box in your hands, it's very brownish. It doesn't look that appealing. And now, if you look at the components here,
Woohoo!
yeah, it's so beautiful. It's extremely appealing. No, it's not. It's very abstract. It's very like a spreadsheet or like diagrams, whatever. But it's a cool game about those composers, classic composers, writing those pieces, and you want to get them to the concerts and then score the most points. And you're grabbing the cubes from them. You are making them compose a piece by grabbing the cubes from the central boards. And if you grab the last cube, the composer dies. You make them work too hard, they die. So, but I mean, like, it's also set collection. Each composer has a color, and you have those. On the other side, you have the abilities, like not abilities, but the scoring methods. So you collect those composers, kind of, or their pieces, and then you score based on what scoring abilities attached to each composer, which is really cool. And then you can mix and match them. So
There you go.
I like that. But as you can see, not the best looking game.
Does not look amazing.
Yeah. Your number 9?
My number 9 might be controversial, but hey, it's my opinion. My number 9 is Terraforming Mars. I really like the game. It does not look good. The artwork is not great. It's just this random public domain artwork. The board itself looks kind of bland. The tiles you put down are all kind of the same looking. The cubes on the board, I mean, the graphics, everything just looks kind of almost prototypey. The game itself is great. I really love playing it. I've enjoyed it for a long time, but it is not a good-looking game to me. So that is why it is my number 9.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So my number 9 is another My Ideas game design game. It seems like
you could probably make a list of most of theirs.
I do enjoy one of their games that was republished. That's why I didn't put on the list.
Someone else?
No, the Flow History. The new edition of Flow History looks stylish.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's why I didn't put. But I mean, like, the older one doesn't look good. Anyway, Mini Rails. Mini Rails is my number 9. This is the Mini Express I talked about. Was in Kickstarter. That was like a sequel or like a bigger game. Mini Rails is it's like a tiny stock market game where you are building up the network, and you can see this one looks kind of okay, not so appealing. If you look at it has some artwork and thing, but if you look at it, like all those pieces and things, you go by this table, you think like, I don't want to play this game. Like discs and this Euro game discs, and then this, I don't know, the pawns and things, and it just doesn't look appealing.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a really cool game about spreading the influence here and trying to like get your stocks higher in price and so on. So very simple game, cool game. I like that. So not so good looking.
There we go. All right.
Number 8.
Number 8 is a game I talk about a lot. It is a game I love, love, love. And it is a game that, all right, to be fair, most games from this company don't look that great. but this is probably the best known one, and it is Twilight Struggle. Twilight Struggle itself, I love Twilight Struggle, right? I mean, the board is a map of the world, but there's some weird choices. Like there's this coffee cup stain in the corner. The token, the board, where you're playing is mostly just little chips with numbers on them. That's the new board. No, and you can see up in the top left corner there, you can see there's a coffee cup stain. The other left.
Oh, okay.
See it? There it is.
Yeah.
And when you get it set up, you've got all these red or white or blue tokens that are just sitting everywhere.
Oof.
And the cards themselves have like just a random historical black and white picture basically just put on there with some text. It's very functional. The game is super thematic. The game is amazing. I love this game. It's one of my favorite games ever, and it is definitely not helped by the way that it looks.
True. No, this is. I mean, like I don't like the theme. I mean, like I don't care about the theme. And if you add this, if you add this really, how to say, how to not curse? Okay.
Ugly
okay,
duckling.
yeah. If you add this ugly duckling graphic to it, I will never play this game. I mean, like this just I cannot play a game with such tokens. I mean, it just looks so bad.
But at least in
Extremely
Europe,
bad.
in the Europe map, you get to distinguish between two different shades of purple.
Oh my god. Anyway,
there we
let's
go.
skip that.
It's a game that I think is ugly, that I really enjoy, so it belongs on the list.
True that.
And you don't disagree that it's ugly.
Yeah. I don't disagree at all. Okay, so my number 8 is a game that it's not about the table presence. It's more like everybody has their own kind of a small booklet, and it's Escape from the Aliens.
Where?
Outer space.
Oh, those ones.
Yeah, in outer space. The box cover looks stylish, cool. But if you look at the components, it's not the one that attracts you right away. You look at the box, like cool aliens things, and then you want to see what's inside the box. And this has kind of a I don't know what's the style of artwork, but it's like just blue, white, red colors, green colors. It's about the function. It's functionality here. What?
It is very functional.
It's functional, and you have those maps which are like ships. And when you look at those maps, if I say this is a spaceship, they say no, it's not. You say yes, it is. No, it's not. You can argue for the whole 1 hour before the person just leaves you with a knowledge that it's not a spaceship, but it is. It's just it looks like a spreadsheet. But it's a really cool game of little bit of that bluffing and hidden movement and in teams and such, and it gives you that tension, and you can you can create this image of a spaceship in your mind of aliens. It's kind of like a thriller horror game, but the graphics don't help at all. That's that.
I agree.
My number 8. Your number 7.
My number 7 is a game that I still enjoy after all these years. I'm not sure anyone even plays it anymore, other than I would like to play it more. This is the third game from Plaid Hat Games. The game is City of Remnants. Now,
okay, not Neon Gods?
Well, so again, City of Remnants is the one that I know better. I've actually never really played Neon Gods, although it's the same game. But this game, I mean, it is not all that visually appealing. The artwork wasn't great. The graphic design wasn't great. the functionality of it wasn't even that great. Like you see over there on the side, you've got those tiles there with the different shape in the corner, and that was supposed to reference a card that was sitting off to the side of the board, and you were supposed to somehow figure out that this building means that thing. It really had some issues. And so they decided to give it a graphic overhaul and turned it into Neon Gods, which is garish and even worse. So, but this is the one I know. And, I love the game. I still love the game. It's a game that I would love to play again, even now.
Let's just show Neon Gods and see if you will puke.
But it's neither version of it.
Oof.
Really very good looking.
I mean, like, if Dinosaur Island kind of went with that approach of neon and did it like in style, this one just splashed all over the place and thought it's cool, but it's it's not. It's not on my list.
My number 7, a game I love that is not all that lovely, and that is City of Remnants.
Okay, so my number 7 is a game that I do like. I like the theme. I like the card play. The art on the cards is nice, and the colors are cool. But Deus is not a beautiful game.
It is not. Yeah.
The box, this box doesn't really make me want to play this game. But the problem, like the thing why I feel like this is an ugly game, that's the board. I mean, the cards are kind of fine, and they have some artwork. Yeah, but I mean, it looks like a cheap Catan thing going on here. Yeah, all the like components feel cheap, and the boards. We did a review of that game, and I complained about the boards having borders, the white borders. And when you put this together, it looks so bad. I mean, like, why do they have those white borders? I don't understand. Why didn't just have no borders? I just didn't understand the concept of like the borders can be much thinner, or very thin, or something like that you can distinguish. It's different land masses which have very different colors. Why bother to do that? I don't know. Yeah. Anyway.
This was on my short list. It didn't make it into the top 10,
but
it was definitely one I thought about. It is a game that is not good looking.
Yeah.
I mean, not there are also lots of, there's some problems in the components themselves. Mountain is misspelled on many of the cards. But just the way it looks physically, for how great a game it is.
Yeah, it's colorful, but it's the wrong art for me. In that kind of a civilization game, I like the card play. I like that you like kind of boost your action on that spot through having more cards in it. Kind of a chain reaction. I like this. So Deus, my number 7. Not that cool of a game, though. It looks colorful. Yeah.
Well, moving on to number 6. This is a game you knew would show up on my list. Because it's a game that is ugly and famous for being so. That game is Ethnos.
Yeah, I haven't played Ethnos.
I know you haven't played it. We talked about it, I think, during the ABCs. So we don't need to belabor it. But the artwork on it just doesn't look good. The artwork on the cards looks even worse. But you look at the board itself, it's very bland. And then you've got these kind of garishly colored tokens that you have to stack up. And just everything about the game does not look exciting to play. And it's a game, some people say that they like the artwork, and that's fine. I just really don't. I think that the game as a whole looks really quite ugly. And I think that may have actually hurt it, which is why it's maybe not around anymore.
It looks like the old, they're like the old Ultima Online, for example, the video game, and so on, which has kind of a old style fantasy artwork. This one seems to be made by an old style, artist, fantasy artist.
The artist apparently is a fairly well-known artist as well. It just doesn't fit in this game, I guess.
I think his artwork just doesn't fit the board game.
Yeah,
itself. it's a book. It can be a book. Like these illustrations here can be a book.
Yeah. Anyway, I think the game's ugly, but I like it.
Yeah. Okay. My number 6 is a 2-player game from Cosmos series, and that's Targi. And I don't feel like Targi looks so good unless the Chinese version, I think.
Oh, that's a different Targi.
You haven't seen that one?
Nope. I've only seen the regular old German Targi.
Oh, that looks kind of stylish, but anyway, if you look at Targi, it's not as appealing, It's not that you wanna like if you compare it to many other Cosmos series, the one that were reprinted, that Thunder and Lightning, the Hera and Zeus one that was reprinted to Thunder and Lightning, where I could have picked Hera and Zeus as well from that list, but it was like there's Thunder and Lightning, which is a reprint of that game, which looks really cool, and Odin's Ravens and so on, which looks really cool. This one doesn't. It's very functional, but it's that bleaked out sand. It looks bad.
It's not a great looking game.
Yeah. So, but I like that. You kind of you it's kind of worker placement, but you would put your workers on the outside of this kind of a grid, and then wherever your meeples cross, that's where you get to choose the action, and you're trying to get the right actions for yourself and sell them, buy, and whatever. Cool game. I like that. It's one of the best 2-player games out there, in my opinion. But I feel like they should have reprinted this one into a more appealing game graphically. Yeah, my number 6, Targi.
Okay. All right, moving on to my number 5. My number 5 is I think a Spielworks game. The game is called Gentis, Gentes.
Yes. I wanted to play this one for a long time.
Oh, it's a great game. I really enjoy it. It's got this, you're bidding with the time tokens, but you've got this track and you're putting these tokens on it, and you can, be more efficient for one round, but then those tokens stay around, so you've got fewer actions in the next round, and you're buying cards and getting abilities and sort of putting your tokens out on the board. It's a great game. It's very Euro, very dry, but it's also not great looking. It just seems it's ugly to me. The icons themselves, if you were to zoom in on like the icons on those tokens on the board, just the art style looks really primitive. I don't know what it was going for there, but what it got was cheap. It just is not a good looking game.
Yeah, it's like if somebody was drawing like a child was drawing some kind of picture.
Basic artwork on the cards. It's just, and as a whole, the box itself doesn't look all that inviting. I just don't. If I saw this game on the shelf, I would pass. And
I like the drawings of the workers here. I don't know why. Maybe because they're bigger. I mean, like they are kind of
stylized.
Stylized, yes. Do you feel so? Everything else is not. I mean, like this game looks ugly, but if you would take those and put them into kind of a Ryan Lockett style of art. I mean, like if you
have someone else do the artwork, then it might.
I mean, like because it feels like, why do they have what's about the legs? I mean, why? Why look at those legs?
I see what they were going for there. They're wooden tokens. They're not. They're like wooden meeples for each of those characters. But I mean, even if you look at the font, that font looks off-putting. Everything about the game is just really not looking.
It's the old wallpaper. And you seen that? Anyway,
that's my number. What was this? 5.
Yes, and that's a good pick. I haven't played this one. That's why I haven't played this one. That's where you lose me, because all the time I was like, I really want to play this game because it's like Civilization. I like the theme. I like how the mechanics sound. I want to play this game, but each time I take this game to my hands, like for example during the board game camp, it's on the shelf, and so I can grab it and play it. I'm like, no, let's play like Nemesis, which
Right.
looks like a real Aliens the movie, Okay, anyway, my number 5, and I'm not going to show it again, which is our first crossover, which is Terraforming Mars.
Oh.
Let me just, but I mean, like, yes, everything you said, and I don't like the cubes as well. These weird cubes, I don't know.
They're functional.
They're functional. I don't like them. They look like they don't belong into that kind of a game, because you have those kind of a clear cubes, and then you have this golden and silver cubes, whatever. Weird. It's just weird. It's there's no consistency in this game, and then you get pictures and cards which are like live action movie thing going on there. It's weird. This is not that one, but I mean, like, look at that. It's weird. It doesn't combine,
and it's inconsistent.
Yeah, inconsistent. The box cover looks kind of cool.
Sure.
Cool. It's okay, but everything else, it's a bad looking game in every way. And not only that, the components are cheap.
Yeah. Well, I've upgraded a lot of mine, but that sort of says that kind of speaks for itself as well.
Yeah, I mean, like, that's where they talked about it on how was one of the Dice Tower shows, whatever, something like that. They talked about this one, and they, like, somebody talked about, Tom talked about upgrading his, and spending a ton of money on upgrading Terraforming Mars to make it beautiful. I don't want to spend $300 in order to make this game look cool. I want to, because this isn't a cheap game. So I don't know. Okay, what's your number 4?
My number 4. All right, my number 4, and hello to Mikkel from see, I don't know if he still lives in Sweden, but that's where I know him from.
Look what I can do.
There you go. A friend that I met through an Ashes online community, and that I've visited with when I've been over in Sweden, although he's from Denmark originally. So hello to you. Let's talk about my number 4. My number 4, we're getting into the games that when I go to an ugly game, this is what I'm thinking of. My number 4 is Carpe Diem.
Okay. I've heard about,
because there's really not any there. So the game itself, you look at the box and it just says, I'm not going to be very much fun. But you can
look at that. Look at that. Look at those faces. It's why.
But when you open the box, there are some real issues. At least in the original one, the backs of the tiles are green and another shade of green, and you have to separate them out by different shades of green. You've got these icons on there that when you put them together make a picture, but it looks like a very rudimentary picture. It is not a good looking game. The main board, where I think in the new version it's been changed, but it used to be that you would like crisscross around the board, and there's like this spider web pattern in the middle of it. That's the personal board. It's the main board that has the spider web pattern. There you can see it in the middle. That you sort of like moving across that thing. It just does not look good. That said, it's great. It's a fantastic game. It's short, it's fast, it's punchy. I love Carpe Diem, but it really is ugly.
Yes. I don't want to look at that anymore.
I assume you haven't played it, but
I assume, I'm like, yeah.
You're not the biggest Stefan Feld fan, and you tend not to play games that look like that. I am a Stefan Feld fan, and I don't really care if the game looks bad. I'll still play it anyway. And this one I'm glad I played, but it sure is not. It does not sell itself.
Yeah. The thing about tile laying games is that I enjoy them when they are kind of a route building games. Like in Carcassonne, you build roads and things, and you complete the cities. I like that. If it's in kind of an abstract nature where you kind of build the blocks or something, and then you have polyominoes things as well, I don't like any of these things. I like when you
Carcassonne style square pieces, but
I mean, I like when you have this kind of a progression in sort of way, like roads. Like I like the recent one, Traintopia, because I could build the railroads. I like it, feels like progression to me, rather than just putting down the tiles. So anyway, my number 4 is a more recent game.
More recent than that?
I think maybe, yeah, it is. Yeah, it's a game that I do enjoy quite a lot, and it's a heavier game, but it doesn't look appealing. When I look at this game, the box, everything, it looks like someone's puke, and that's Barrage. I mean, I'm sorry, but if I look at this cover, that's never gonna make me play this game. But I still played it, and I enjoyed it.
I'm not sure I agree about this one. I think this game has a really nice look to it. I think the game actually looks like it's more exciting. I think it has some component issues, but I think the game itself actually makes itself sound even more exciting than it actually is. I think this game actually looks quite good, but then again, that's my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at this game, if you look at those different colors of those blocks and things, and the map, this is exactly the same issue that was with Ethnos. Exactly the same. I mean, it looks the same garish colors. The map, it just doesn't look good. It's too much brown. It looks.
Wheels are.
I mean, like it looks extremely industrial, and I do understand the theme, and that's cool. But when you look at this one, it looks like all those lines, the pipes, they kind of stand out, and I do understand the functionality about that one.
They're not pipes.
Whatever they are, I mean, like they are functional, but it doesn't look appealing. When you look at this, it's not an appealing game in any sort of way. I just cannot see it's being a beautiful game. So,
well, there you are.
Barrage, but it's a cool game about
hydraulic power.
About getting the water into your whatever through the conduits into your stations or whatever into your dams, and then into your stations, the power plants or whatever. I don't remember. And it's a cool worker placement game. So
it is. It's a good game. I like Barrage. And it is more recent than Carpe Diem, so you are correct. All right. We're into the top 3. Now, I put these games, in my opinion, based on how ugly they were. So we're getting into the games that I think are just really very not attractive.
Oh, you did that? I put the games based on how much I like them.
Oh, okay.
I tried to, yes.
Well, see, there we go. We've got our different order here.
But I would say my first 3 games are, at least 2 of them are one of the ugliest games on my list.
Okay, well, so these next 3 games are, at least in my opinion, objectively not attractive. And the first of these is a game that I know you don't like the art style on, and I don't either. In fact, I think this is one of the worst board game artists in the business, and the game is called The Golden Ages.
Okay. And let me say just upfront that we have a crossover. That's my number 3 as well.
Ah, all right. There we go.
I mean, like, we look at that. Look at the gladiator or whoever he is.
The royal figure above him is even worse.
This one's face was covered because you couldn't stand. I'm sorry.
And even if you get past the really bad cover art, the graphic design on the cards.
Oh, look at that. Look at that.
Is really bad looking.
Look at that.
Cart has its own bad artwork. It's just really an ugly game, which is a shame because it's a lot of fun. I just never get it because people look at it and say, "Oh, I don't know if I want to play that."
And that's the problem. I mean, the thing is that I would keep it in my collection, and it's such a neat game. I like this kind of a style of civilization game. It's a little bit more abstract civilization game as well. like spreadsheety, abstract, mathy.
Mhm.
But I would compare it to, let's say, Patch History or Tapestry.
Sure.
But Patch History and Tapestry look really cool, like compared to that one, and that's where this one loses. That's where I would never. I really want to play this game again. I really want to get it back, but I just cannot look through the this. I don't know what to say
Right.
about this one. Bad.
This artist apparently does other games too. Like he did the artwork for Brussels 1878 or whatever. And immediately as I played that, after playing the Golden Ages, I was like, this sure looks like the Golden Ages artwork. And it is. He has a very distinctive art style, and that style is bad. So
yeah. I mean, maybe some people like it. I mean, like, some people might say it's really cool. But when I look at such a game, when I look at this game, I feel like we are past that kind of artwork long time ago.
Yeah. Well, anyway. So that's both of our number 3.
Yes.
Obviously, you don't disagree with me. All right.
Number 2.
2 is a game that this is when I think of a game with a bad cover and bad artwork, this is just one that jumps to my mind, and I kind of delight showing it to people. The game is Inhabit the Earth.
Oh, the one that we're
with the lion with the big eyes that looks like
they were smoking. Yeah, something. Yeah. Look, just look. Wait, I'm sorry.
I mean, so the artist does a lot of games. Like she does the key games, and she's a talented artist. But I don't know what was going on. All of these animals look high.
Only one shilling is the
I mean, it looks like a 6-year-old drew it. It's just really an ugly game. And when you open it up and look at the components, you've got bad artwork on every card. The game board itself isn't that great. That said, I really like the game. You're competing to move up on these tracks, and you're jumping from back and forth from one continent to the other and adapting and evolving. And it's a really fun game with a lot of just great thought put into it, but not good looking at all.
No, it's not. No, it looks like one of the... What's the name of that designer who made Greenland and the Neanderthal? Phil Eklund, yeah. Like his first designs, yeah. I mean, like his games are scientific. I mean, like his games are like spreadsheets itself. So
yeah, and his rule books are technical manuals. I don't know if you've gotten through a Phil Eklund rule book.
I started to play Greenland. If you remember, a long time ago, I told you about that. We started to play Greenland, and we realized that I cannot go through the rules. I just abandoned it.
Yeah, I like Greenland and Neanderthal are his 2 most accessible games, and Pax what is it, Porfiriana?
I couldn't.
But even those, it really takes effort. You have to say, I really want to play this game to be able to get into it.
Yeah. By the way, did you see the extension of this one?
I have not seen the full poster. I've got to get that for my wall. Oh, look
at that! Look at that!
Wow!
I mean, like this.
What's that?
Mole rat! Look at that mole rat! It's
I love the hyena.
Look at that turtle. I mean, like, why?
Why is this not on the cover?
It's so bad. Look at that bat. Look at the eye of the bat. I mean, like, do they have such big eyes?
He's spreading the coronavirus.
Oh my God. Anyway, let's just...
We can move on from it, but that is a game that I think is really ugly, even though I really enjoy it.
Oh, there's the whale. And whale looks like it's so tiny.
The whale is the best drawn art on the board. Also, the little flock of birds above the whale is okay. But that's because you can't see it.
Anyway. let's go to my number 2. And I was kind of, I was like, should I put this one on the list? I really like the boards of that game, how the boards look. I'm not the biggest fan of the art overly, and I like the box cover as well. This First Class, and I was like, I don't know, First Class looks like it's stylized, but I mean, you look at that one, that's okay. You look at that one, that's weird. You look at that one, it's it's not appealing game, graphically appealing game in any way. I mean, like it's kind of stylish, but I like the boards. But if you look at all the cards, they are all with this big borders and things, and the action cards, they all have kind of a symbols. Not that many, not that much art. The art is behind the cards, and it doesn't really help the graphic. The graphic layout is cool.
Yeah.
It's functional, but it doesn't help the arts.
See, I don't have a problem with First Class. I mean, it's not great looking, but I found the artwork to be okay. There isn't a whole lot in there anyway. But you know,
that's the thing. That's where like I put the games based on how much I like them. It's one of the least ugliest games here on my list, but it's still not so appealing. I would never buy it, but I bought it because I don't know why. Russian Railroads. Oh, because of Russian Railroads, yeah. Also, I think Russian Railroads looks stylized. I like the look of Russian Railroads more.
I don't have a problem with Russian Railroads either. Again, there's not a whole lot of artwork in it. These are very functional games.
Yeah, if you look at that, it's not beautiful. Anyway,
same artwork on each card.
Yeah, basically that. So, what's your last game? Your number 1?
Well, you could probably guess it. This is sort of the epitome of an ugly game.
Oh, it's the Scythe. No, it's not Scythe.
Scythe. I mean, this is.
Oh, it's the train game with the ass logo. ASS.
It's not the ass game. It is. So this is a game that as soon as I mention it, you immediately comment on how ugly it is. The game is Food Chain Magnate.
Yes, I knew that.
I mean, it just is everything. I mean, the game looks unfinished. It's so bad that it looks unfinished. The artwork I'm okay with, like the card sort of 1950s style artwork is okay, but the board itself, the tokens feel cheap. The way that things look, it's functional, sure, but it's functional and cheap and unfinished feeling.
Yeah, think about putting that hyena here.
The hyena would improve it.
That's the problem. If hyena would improve it.
The hyena needs to be your new logo.
Oh yeah, but I mean, like, if hyena would improve it, that's how bad this artwork is.
And it's got the cheapest paper money that you can find. It is a game that is. This company's design philosophy is, we're going to produce a game and sell it for a lot of money, and people are going to buy it because they know that we make good games. That nowhere in their consideration is, we're going to make a game that looks good, is easy to learn, has nice components. In fact, there's even no artwork on the back of the box. The back of the box is totally blank.
Yeah.
It's a game that is made by people who really just don't care. Now, that said, it's a fantastic game. It's a mean game. It's a thinky game. It's a game where you can pick a strategy and go for it and try something new. It's a long game. It's a long game. It's a long game. Say that a couple of times in case I need to warn somebody off. But it's just really not good. However, since I'm making my list from least ugly to ugliest, this one wins.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't think you're going to disagree with me.
No. I think that's the definition of a game I will never play. That's the one that if you make if you make a short game which doesn't look good, like Insider. No, like Insider is not a good looking game, but it's a tiny game. It's a game that ends in 10 minutes. I don't want to stare at that. If you make a game that you need to stare at for like 3 to 4 hours, I think, then please no. So anyway, my number one is I think you know what's my number one. If you think about my top 10 of all time, there's a game that I do enjoy a lot, but doesn't look good.
Oh, I'm not.
Try to guess that.
I'm not sure because you ordered your list differently, so I wouldn't know.
It's an engine building game.
It's not Wingspan.
No, Wingspan looks cool.
I know. I was gonna say, I don't know. I'm. As soon as you say it, I'll know. Is it the Age of Empires 3?
No, I like the look of that.
Okay. Then I don't think I'm gonna know.
The miniatures make it cool look. Okay, it's Homesteaders.
Oh yeah, okay. I should have gotten that one.
Yeah,
I agree.
I mean, like if you look at this artwork, and I do have the new Deluxified edition or whatever this new edition is, which doesn't really improve. I mean, like it doesn't improve in the artwork. It's a fact. But anyway, if you look at that, it's like these are the buildings. So
I even thought of this when I was making my list.
Yeah.
So
How do you know that these are buildings? Because they do have names on them. If you take away the names, how do you know then that they are buildings? You will not. Because there's no picture. I mean, like, oh, okay, there's this like a tiny, I mean, like, no. It's not.
But even the brown color on the white side of those tiles is really not very attractive. No, I agree. This is an ugly game.
And look at those player screens. I mean, like, there's like some old photos. It's not a good art, but it's an amazing game. It's the same for you as Fuji Magnet for you. That's the one for me. Really ugly. I shouldn't like this one, based on my tastes. And if you can see, the older version was even uglier. They made ugly into less ugly, but it didn't change the
slightly less ugly.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, like let's make this dude bigger. Doesn't okay. That's it. Anyway, but it's an amazing engine building game. I like getting those buildings and converting resources all the time, and a little bit of worker placement. Amazing game. But if each time I show it to somebody, they're like, "What's this game? I want to play it."
Yeah.
But then they play it and they like it. So that's that. There's the expansion, by the way, which has the cards, which don't have artwork as well.
Well, there you go. At least they kept.
They kept, very consistent. Oh my god! I mean, like, why? Like, it's like 10 years, like anniversary of the game. 2019 was the anniversary of the game, and Team G does make the deluxified editions of the games, And why didn't they make it more appealing? I don't understand it. They didn't want to. I think they didn't want to spend the money on the.
Well, maybe it was to avoid having people feel the need to buy a new edition who already owned an older one. I don't know.
True that. Yeah, they do that the same like Yokohama. I considered Yokohama, by the way, but I have issues with the gameplay a little bit. So.
Well, there we go. We got 10 ugly games from me and some ugly games from you.
10 ugly games from me as well. Anyway, that's it for this episode. Thank you for watching. Let's stop this screen from sharing. And
I did like the lack of technical difficulties this time. That was nice.
Yeah, we figured that one out through money.
Bought some new equipment. I don't know if that was what was happening last time because there was an internet connection issue, but at least we don't have my headphones being weird.
Yeah, there might be issues if your cam is not that good, or like the connections between, like, the Bluetooth connection is not that good. It can boost the bad connection with the network. I mean, like, we're still apart. Like, you're in US and we are streaming through that online system here, the StreamYard, which might have lags itself. So
yeah,
we don't know.
but it's better this time. Investing in some new equipment is always a good thing to do.
Yeah, true that. Anyway, thank you for watching. We'll see you another time in episode 16, where we're going to talk about...
Hopefully, maybe sooner than 4 months in the future.
Yeah, though we did some specials, but yeah, the next topic will be... Oh, you stomped on your table.
Oh well.
You crushed our dreams. Okay. I want to say bye-bye.
All right. Bye-bye.
Have a good night or good evening.
Okay.
Good evening, London.
Good evening, Europe.
Good evening, Europe. And the 12 points go to...
Uche Magnet.
Uche Magnet, yeah. All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.